Okay, so that was a way of me saying, welcome to Logan's story, and welcome to a Marvel Cinematic Worldview commentary. Today we talk about Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. Okay, so what is the movie about? It's about a young man who finds that he has more power and more potential than he thinks. And because of that, he ends up being a part of a, martial arts based discipline that is the Ten Rings. The Ten Rings give him power, and the Ten Rings is what embodies the entire soul and entity of the movie. And because of that, there's a lot of things you could take away from this. It being a martial art film, it being a love story, it being a brain splattering action movie. From buses to fancy cars to even themselves, the people. See, the thing is, when you think about something like this, it's important to know the practices of the film as you put them down on the plates. See, the main character has a main friend that's with him to the end. And even though the movie compels a sense of want and need for the idea of loving the compatible people that you're supposed to love in general, it simply takes away from the graphs that are important to the film. The themes include love, sacrifice, humility, and much, much more. Potential to find yourself as well. But the thing is, when you think about this film, and you think about it entirely, there's a note of practice that comes to you. How can I relate to the characters in this film? And how can the characters relate to me? Well, that's all said and done. But here's the thing. What are the nooks and crannies that make this film stand out the best? What are those things we seem to miss on a larger scale? Well, let's go into detail. So it's about family in a way that seemingly groups together and has a way of saying that family and love is what truthfully maintains. But the father in the story thinks that love is based on discipline. And the discipline, while warranted, is the only thing this father can think of in terms of love. To be strict and hard on the kids, rather than the kids just being kids. This seems to be a thing in Pacific Islander and Asian culture. The idea of the future of the child is the most important thing to the parent at need. And if the discipline is started, then they perform better, right? Well, do they? Put your eyes and your feet in the shoes and in the sockets of a Pacific Islander and Asian person. What do they go through on a daily basis? And how can they relate to this movie? See, they don't want to disappoint their mother and father. If I'm wrong, it's a tradition to not do that, to make your family proud. To do that, to make your family proud. But not to not make them proud, you know what I'm saying? And that's what this movie is really about. It explores the themes of what it means to be an exceptional man or an exceptional woman. And why discipline isn't always the warranted aspect. Sometimes it could be something as simple as love, and the cherisher will notice of just a gesture. And the gesture seems to be something that is more often reflected through different things, like through food, hugs, kisses, and otherwise. But the thing is, when you go on a warranted rage, based on your past life, based on a past love, you lose grip of what you can possibly see something in terms in the midst of. And that's what leads me to this. How can we relate to Pacific Islanders and Asian people in this case in point? What are the things that we can relate to in this movie and ourselves without the point of Asian and Pacific Islander? How can we as black men, how can we as white women, black women, Asian men, Arabian, whatever, relate to Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings and the themes that it has? Well, application, of course. There are no aspects in this film that don't speak upon the proudness and the believability of a father or a mother. And the thing is, when you think about making your parents proud, when you think about turning a leaf and making things happen for you and yourself, what is the basic attribute that you give to yourself to make them proud? Sometimes we mess up, and sometimes we mess up bad. But that doesn't mean we're less of a people. That doesn't mean we're less of a person. It just means we made a mistake. It doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person either. It just means you made a mistake. So what you do in abundance to your parents to make them proud is warranted. But here's the thing. Take care of yourself. Because if you stress yourself out to the limit of, I can't do this anymore, I quit, you're gonna quit. Don't say quit. And don't say you're disappointing your parents either. Give yourself time to breathe. Give yourself a break. And think things through. Don't just act upon action. Think things through. When you're approaching your parents with the next move in life, make sure that you know what you want to do. Not what they want to do. Because your life is your life. And their life is their life. So, just remember that next time you have a conversation with with your parents about college, jobs, cars, or anything otherwise. Thank you for coming to application. Let's move forward. Thank you for watching the story. Thank you for coming to this Marvel Cinematic Worldview commentary. There's more commentaries in the future, so keep an eye out for those. Also, the mission is 1,000 subscribers. You guys know how to get there by hitting the share, like, and subscribe button right on the screen. Also by hitting the bell. Leave a comment if you can too. Thank you again, and peace.